gonna start off with Northlane's Obsidian, and everybody was talking about this. They wanted me to do it. Didn't get to do it because, well, I reacted to the singles. Plenty. It just has a really lackluster chorus. Very dull, like, sort of groove. I don't know. It didn't really go anywhere. And in hindsight, I'd probably give that like a 5.5 out of 10 now, not an 8 out of 10. Now, Echo Chamber, definitely repetitive, like I said, but very solid beat. Amazing, like, execution of, like, that breakdown as well. And vocal abilities of Marcus. I don't care what you have to say about the chorus if it was very repetitive. It was so catchy to me. Now, Clockwork, nothing's going to beat this song. This is the only 10 out of 10 song on the album for me. The beat was just very captivating. Breakdown was quite heavy too, but without being so overly flashy and saying, hey, we're a metalcore band, because that's not what Northlane is on this album. Now, there may be an amazing beat on this song, but I don't think the entire album has that sort of same energy. That it did not showcase it on really any other songs. Like Zen, for example, I think has a nice potential to dig deep into like that dance hall territory. Then for sure I could see that Northlane growing in that realm. But you really have to execute those electronics perfectly, like at the end of the song and during that guitar solo area. Awesome execution of the beats there. Dark Solitaire, also pretty decently well done, but to me that's like an 8 out of 10 at best type of track. And to me, there's not many songs on this album, besides the one I just mentioned, that are able to hit that mark, the 8 out of 10 mark. Now, the breakdown of Dark Solitaire, by the way, awesome. One of the best breakdowns in the album. I don't think enough people are talking about it. I've talked about kind of the best songs in the album. I'm going to talk about a few of like the middle road ones. So I don't know what the purpose of Is This a Test? I also don't know what the purpose of Cypher all that much. I don't even know the purpose of In Your Armada. I don't even want to say it. That's a very dull sounding track. I don't have anything really to say though about those tracks. Nova, I have a little bit to say. I definitely understand the appeal as far as the whole Massive Attack, Portishead influence. But it's not a song I'm going to play. I have to be really in the mood for that. The title track Obsidian, definitely a nice solid tune actually. I forgot that one was well executed electronically, and something else I would like to hear from these guys on the next album. Only complaint though about this song is that it's very generic, guys. It's the constant open note palm muting. It's just too much. Carbonize really falls victim to this as well. I'm not a fan of like that new metalcore sound or the rap vocals. Clarity, it's kind of just there. I mean, it's more of like a Marcus and Nick Peterson, the drummer. Very well focused on those two guys, because for me it's like, okay, you can play blast beats, but like what else does this song have to offer? Abomination, also nice beat, but not an amazing track. Honestly, guys, I think this album deserves a decent grade, but I don't think it can go any higher than a 7.5 or even a 7. I think 7's very generous. It just doesn't have enough oomph to it for me to rate it higher. It's got a lot of weak moments. My favorite album from Northlane is probably Node. When it comes to terms of the execution of Marcus's vocals on that album, there's more moments like Zen. So Zen to me is like a Node-driven track. It's such a banging chorus, and to me that reminds me a lot of songs like Animate or Impulse, stuff like that. I don't know what happened. And then Mesmer, it brought a lot of like this energy on this album, which is kind of like middle of the road stuff. There's a lot of good stuff on Mesmer, but there's also like some moments where I'm just like, could do without. I should have given like a brief history of the band, but it's like I never even got to see Northlane when they had their old vocalist. And, I enjoy them a lot. I got into them on Singularity, but I keep going back to like the Node album and stuff from this new Marcus era. There's just been a lot of like downfalls, to be honest. Next album, gonna dive into this real fast, guys. Hailstorm, nothing to say about them. I think Hailstorm's new one is just kind of more of the same. It's not like their worst album or anything, Back from the Dead. I just don't have nothing to say. It's just more by the numbers, hard rock. Lizzie Hale doing her thing. Same deal about these female fronted bands. They might have a few tricks up their sleeve, but guitar work, Simple Plan, same deal, generic pop punk. What more is there to say about it? I mean, they've always been Simple Plan, they've always been immature. Now, if we're talking about like really awesome, catchy, fun pop punk, State Champs has it in this album. Kings of the New Age. So this is kind of like what I want to base this entire video off of. More or less talking more about this album, and I'll try to do it the best of my ability. One of the YouTubers here on this one, right? There's a reason why this album's called Kings of the New Age, and it's because apparently, do your research, but they're very confident that they will take over the pop punk scene more so than like MGK and Jaden and Mod Sun, all these other guys, right? And who's gonna be remembered in like the next 5 years, right? State Champs is still remembered. For sure, they aren't getting like 20 million views or anything, but they just hit 1.6 million views on Act Like That. Definitely solid tune. Definitely my least favorite track, but like I'm very happy that they were able to do this with the country artist. He's pretty okay. I mean, I like the part where there's distortion in there. Mitchell Tenpenny. Nothing more to say about this song. Other songs I didn't really care for. Fake It, the chorus was a little cheesy for me. Half Empty with Chris C. Costanza of Against the Current. Definitely solid tune, but it's just a little cheesy for me. It's kind of like the throwaway tracks from Around the World and Back, which is actually my favorite album. Did not care for Living Proof at all from the last album, by the way. Anyways, the album opens up with Here to Stay. This has more of like a Good Charlotte type of Simple Plan, feel good, throwback 2002, basically straight off of there. Some nice vocal chants, the guitar riffs just soar right through. Then the harmonics too, and the guitar, awesome stuff. I don't have too much to say, guys, about lyrics on this album, by the way. I kind of just want to dig through this, like, you know, again, this is not a full-blown review. Favorite tracks, though, again, Here to Stay, Everybody But You with Ben of Neck Deep, and such a solid fucking tune, so catchy. You can watch my full reaction for that one, too. Eventually, I got a full reaction for that. It's a pretty solid tune as well. Out of My Head, oh my god, one of the best tunes on this album as well. So that's the thing about this album, is like, okay, catchy ass tune, catchy ass tune, catchy ass tune. I don't have much else to say. Just sound pretty catchy as well. Where Were You, also one of the best tracks. Really one of the best choruses on the album. Sundress with 4 Years Strong now, holy shit. I wish this was more of a 4 Years Strong track. It is what it is. Hopefully they could do more tracks together, but also a really awesome tune. Some Minds Don't Change, kind of okay tune. This is a solid album, guys. I think it's better than New North Lane. I'm probably going to give this one more or less on the higher scale of 7.5 than a 7, but nothing lower than that. But yeah, I've been playing this album a lot this week, though. Definitely a pop punk album that, if you enjoy pop punk music, definitely check this album out. Okay, other albums I didn't touch because I don't really listen to the genres. Harry Styles just dropped a new one. And Kendrick Lamar, I know everybody's talking about this one as well. Listen, I can appreciate Kendrick Lamar and I listen to some of his stuff, but I can't understand, like, you really have to have the mastermind and, like, mindset of, like, being able to be in the mood, first of all, for, like, that poetic literature and stuff. And second of all, I don't know, I just find Kendrick fans to be punishers. So I don't want to talk about any of that stuff, especially like a lot of hip-hop in general. I just find that I'm not well-versed either to really review that stuff. Now, lastly, I want to talk about the new Silverstein album. I know Rob is probably watching this, and you just want me to talk about the new Silverstein so bad. Out of all of the three big bands that I've talked about in this video, Silverstein gets the shortest end of the stick on this. Misery Made Me. So, I want to like this album so bad, guys, but there's just so many cheesy moments. And I know this sounds hypocritical for me to say because I just rated State Champs pretty decently, but Misery Made Me, I don't know what they're trying to do on this album. Our song sounds like it was straight off of, I don't know if I would say A Shipwreck in the Sand, but It's got the same sort of beat as one of those songs on the album. I don't know which song exactly. I have to do my research. It's got a nice thumping tune. It's definitely there. It's definitely not the worst song. I just don't know if I would go back to it. Live Like This with Nothing Nowhere. I did a reaction for this recently. I rated it pretty fucking high. I don't know why I did. I mean, it's catchy, but dude, like, this Silverstein's released so many better tracks than this. It's just more for like the catchiness, I feel like, and less for like the actual substance. And I know Silverstein is very good at writing hooky choruses, but something about this album just doesn't do it for me, guys. It's not sitting right. This album is not the worst album, obviously. I want to reserve that for either Arrivals and Departures, their last album, or I Am Alive and Everything I Touch. I really did not care for any of those albums all that much. Dead Reflection at least had a couple good tunes. I mean, this album, there's a couple good tunes. I liked Mike Veronica's feature on Slow Motion. Nice little breakdown. But, I don't know, it's just like, the chorus is nice, but it's like, it's only there for like, it's only in your head for like a week type of thing. So like, State Champs, they wrote choruses, they're going to resonate with me for quite some time. And for sure, like, the riffs aren't like full blown in a pop punk album, but like this album too, it's not really that many great riffs. I mean, Ultraviolet, again, very catchy tune, but it's very accessible. It's got some nice riffs here and there. Yes, I did do a reaction. I rate it highly. Love the breakdown, but it's definitely typical for Silverstein. It's definitely something you would hear from I Am Alive and Everything I Touch or Dead Reflection. And then you have like It's Over, very lackluster chorus. It's kind of just there. It's kind of just being suspenseful and dramatic for like the sake of being dramatic. I don't know why they did like the weird so that I don't like it. I definitely overrated the song. I gave it like an 8 out of 10 on first. Now I'm probably gonna drop it down to like a 6. Cold Blood with Trevor Daniel. I don't know who Trevor is. This is probably the best song on the album though. In hindsight, I just think it's a very catchy tune, but it's still not doing enough for me to give it a 10 out of 10. Like, dude, guys, there's no 10 out of 10 tracks in this album, so I feel like it's worse than the North Lane album already. The Alter Mary, where it hits the highs right at the beginning of the track and just sank low once they got to Mary. I don't know if they're just trying to be edgy and fit into like the synth pop crowd. They want to do the 1975. That's fine, but why do you have to have like 2 tracks to one? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. The Altar does remind me a lot of something I would hear from This Is How the Wind Shifts. There was a track on there where they tuned for drop A sharp for the very first time, but it's not as good. I think Paul Mark's vocals kind of just were in there for like no reason. Don't Wait Up, that's definitely a filler track. I don't have anything to say. Bankrupt, very cliched song. Thought it was the worst one on this album. I'd probably give that like a, I don't even know, a 4.5 or maybe 5 out of 10 on a good day. Misery, it is what it is. But yeah, overall this album's like a 6 out of 10, I think. Die Alone's the only song I didn't mention. I thought the song was just like heavy for the sake of being heavy, you know. You can sound like Comeback Kid all you want because they got Andrew on the song, but nothing's gonna beat Born Dead with Scott Wade. That song was the fucking shit, and that's one of their heaviest tunes. Yeah, there's nothing on this album that really matches that energy. I don't know. Nothing. And I don't have much else to say. I mean, lyrically, Silverstein's always been a great band, but, you know, overall, I'm trying to talk about the actual song writing and the riffs, the vocals, the choruses. And yeah, I mean, I guess Slow Motion's got a nice heavy riff, but it's just like, okay, we gotta drop a riff. What else we'll see how this video goes. I'm very tired, guys, but yeah, it was my day off. I figured, you know, let's just do this real quick, get it over with. Wasn't too motivated about it, but hopefully you guys thought some good things about this. Honestly, you guys can see a lot of my reactions for a lot of the stuff I'm talking about. I guess State Champs was like the only thing like worth talking about. I don't know. I just didn't have enough to say about the new North Lane or Silverstein. Yeah, I'm talking about a decent amount of this stuff, but it's not enough to highlight. Is my point. This is not really an outro, but it's kind of just like summing up my points, right? Because I had this fucking shit filmed over a week in advance. Just I haven't had any storage space on my fucking phone. And iMovie just does not want to convert nothing right now, so I gotta keep doing this. So hopefully this shit will be up by tomorrow or tonight, whatever it is. But anyways, so Ibaraki was another album I would try to talk about. I don't know why it got deleted, but interesting concept, interesting ideas. This is Matt Heafy's side project here from Trivium. Love the way he screams. The singing sounds a little bit off, but that's kind of just like typical Matt Heafy, I guess, which, I don't know, I guess I could give or take, live with it, but it's not an album I really want to keep going back to. But there's some pretty killer songs. They got the guy from Emperor on there. I don't know how to say his name. And then Nurgle on another track from Behemoth. Anyways, I think it's a pretty decent, solid album. Haven't given enough listens.